Hey there, my friends. What's going on? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. Just digging into this here coffee here, my friends. Mm 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 mm. So good. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. Call it the Go Juice. My friends, this morning we have a guest on who is I don't know much about her. Haven't talked to her except for a split second here backstage, where Joanne and she told me that this was her first time ever going live. And so when I tell you, my friends, that our guests here are both students of our education, everybody here has bought one of our all of the 800 and something guests on this show have bought our education, gone through it, implemented it to have some form of success with it. We reached out to them, invited them to come on to the show to share their story. Most of them accept. Few of them decline because they just feel like, they're too fearful or just not ready, whatever the case may be. It's just a simple invitation. And in some cases, some of our guests have never gone live before. Okay, never been on a live video, and I love that. I love that. I love when people are willing to step into difficult situations, because that's what this is all about. This is all about finding out what you're made of, learning more about yourself, realizing you can do hard things, and all of the things that you are fretting and fearful about. Typically, when you get in the situation, you can handle it. You can handle much more than you realized. With that being said, this morning, as you can see, or I'll tell you, stay-at-home mom breaks the paycheck to paycheck cycle using Facebook Reels. And of course, the strategies and methods and frameworks that we've been teaching all of you here within our community. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Was anything that I said in your intro a stretch or a lie?
No, not at all. No, I'm first time live. Um, so bear with me. I get the little jitters every once in a while if I get
Mm.
too nervous.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Don't worry about it. I get the jitters because I drink too much coffee in the morning. So you know what I mean? Got, start
That
twitching and stuff here.
I know I'm rethinking the Red Bull. I'm rethinking that.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, the Red Bull. Whoo, that's a lot. Well, my friend, you're here.
I am.
We're live. You look wonderful. You
Thank
sound
you.
wonderful. Your story
Perfect.
is fantastic, and I can't wait for you to share it with our audience here. We've only got 422 people here listening to every single word that you say, and there'll probably be a couple of hundred more within the next few minutes. So
No
don't
pressure.
worry about a thing. It's just you and I. Uh, I like to apply pressure because you know what? As I said in the intro, we do get to, learn about ourselves and see what we're made out of. And that will be one of my questions for you. It's what have you learned about yourself? But let's start at the beginning. What were
Okay.
you looking for? Were you even looking for anything when you found us? Do you feel like you have found what you were looking for?
I mean, I guess I wasn't looking for anything. It kind of just fell into my lap. You start seeing everybody else having the success, and you get on the money side of TikTok and things like that. And I've been a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. I've taken care of children. I've also been a student. I'm about two classes away from getting my bachelor's in business. And going to school, stopping school, raising kids, stopping, starting. So we're at the end of that. So I'd always seen myself, well, I was going to get my degree and get the kids in school, and I was going to go work somewhere, go back to work. And
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and be there for all the kids' things. So I was like,
Mm,
how can I do that? How
mm,
can I still be present for any sick day, any small activity for my children, and have that flexibility,
yeah.
but feel more financially independent, since I have always just been stay-at-home mom. You know, that's something that we lose when we transition and give up that part of ourselves, you know, for our children, is that, well, now we rely on our husbands
Mm.
for that. So it just kind of fell in my lap, and I was like, you know what? Everybody else is doing it. Not everybody else, but if they can do it, why can't I? You know, I
Yeah.
can do it. I'm smart, you know.
Mm.
Um, and so I told my husband I was going to do this, and he's like, well, what about your school? I was like, I'm going to finish school. You know, I will. I'm going to finish school, absolutely. You know, just to say I've got that, whatever. But I'm doing this, and this is
Mm.
what it is. Because
Nice.
we own a business as well. So I mean, I do run that.
Mm.
So that was always the plan, was I was going to get my business degree to run the business. And so
Mm.
now it's just kind of things have taken a different course, and I'm kind of liking it. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah. Wow, you're busy. I mean, you say all these things sort of nonchalantly. I'm a mom. I'm taking care of kids. How
Hmm.
many kids? Just curious.
Two. I have two. I've got a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old feisty little girl.
So two kids. Okay.
Yes.
You're going to college.
Hmm.
You're running a business already, a
Hmm.
local business. I read it as a welding business. Is that
It
correct?
is. Yes, sir.
Okay. Along with your husband. Um, that right there is a plateful. Now you're starting an online business. You're starting as an entrepreneur independently on your own. So you got a full plate. I mean, you are really a go-getter. You're going after things. You've got a lot going on. You've got a lot of drive and a lot of tenacity and a lot of motivation. And it seems like you have a pretty big why. What is the reason you work so hard? I mean, what is the reason why you're even now pursuing your own entrepreneurial venture? Can you help us to understand what drives you?
Well, a big thing was that, you know, my husband has always worked really, really hard for us. He has provided very, very well for us, you know, and being a welding company, we're not a supplier, we're more mobile. And so when the winter comes and bad weather comes, you can't work outside as much. So work slows down, and he starts to get stressed, you know. If he's not working on a day that's raining, he's stressed. And I wanted to be able to take that financial burden off of him just a little, like, baby, it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry. You know, we're
Mm,
hanging out, but passive income is still happening, you
mm,
know. And
yeah.
I had a lot of examples of why you need to work hard so you don't end up like this, you
Mm,
know. Instead
yeah.
of the role models for doing good, I had role models for not doing good, and I want to do completely opposite of them. So I stay going. I don't sit a whole bunch other than to do my work, and I stay going. There's no
Mm,
option to not.
yeah. Wow. What a beautiful reason, and all born from love, not from greed or from anything, even sounds like materialistic drive, which there's nothing wrong with wanting to be rich and have nice things, but that's a powerful loving why, and I'm sure that's going to be helpful along the journey when you feel like you want to give up. So talk to us a little bit about some of the limiting beliefs that you've had coming into this. What sort of stories have you discovered that were sort of laying dormant inside of your head, that were maybe doing push-ups, getting strong, waiting for the right opportunity to, show their stinky little heads and try to tell you that you aren't good enough, or you can't do this, or you can't be successful, or as you started to do videos that you weren't as good as such and such. Talk to us a little bit about, it looks good on the outside, it sounds good. Talk to us about what has gone on and what you've battled on the inside.
Oh, there was a term that you had used in one of the trainings, imposter syndrome. You know,
Mhm.
like, I can't do this. I'm a small town girl from Georgia. You know, what do I really have to offer? I'm very intelligent. I know I get a lot of hateful comments because of my accent, that, oh, I'm not, you know, why would I listen to you? You know,
Mm,
look, you can't even pronounce that right, you know. Um, and that's just that stuff will get to me, because that's one of those self-conscious things, is, well, I know I don't sound that educated, but that's just the Southern.
Mm,
I have professors that when they finally talk, because I do online college, when they finally talk to me, they're like, I I wouldn't have pictured, I know they're taken back because of how well educated that I am. And it was just thinking, well, I can't do it. And you see these people growing followings from nothing, and it's like, that's intimidating to do, especially for me. Prior to starting my online business, I kept all of my accounts, private.
mm,
If I did, you weren't family or direct friends, you were not friends with me on Facebook. I was very, very just private. And
mm,
so the idea of, well, are you really going to let people into your life?
mm,
Are you going to open yourself up, be vulnerable to hateful comments,
mm,
And it's like, yeah, yeah, I am, because I have something to provide. I have a value to provide for people, and I really do have a love to help others, right?
mm,
Acts of service is my love language, so let me serve you and let me help you. And
mm.
I knew if I could just get started, it would all start to flow, and it kind of has. Now, I look back and I'm talking with people, and they're terrified. They're very terrified of getting started, and I'll say it's okay. Looking at my first real video of me talking, oh, robot, just terrified, like, oh, cringy, you know. And now things just flow, and I'm not trying to go for perfection, because none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
And if I keep it real, like, oh, blah, blah, there was my mix up with words, let's just keep
Mm,
going, you
yeah.
know?
Well,
And
it's
I'm trying to tell people that and encourage that.
yeah. Well, it's amazing because I mean, folks here have no dog in the fight except to just they could say whatever they feel because we're not selling anything. We're just literally just having a conversation, and the comments are pouring in about them loving your accent. I love your accent as well.
Oh,
Somebody said
thank
beautiful,
y'all.
beautiful Southern belle. Beautiful and love your accent. It reminds me, as it often does. I could listen to you all day. Love the accent. The accent is
Thank y'all.
beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it's just beautiful. Um, Man, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. This is the
Yeah.
power of a great community validating us and believing in us even when we don't believe in ourselves. And I know you do believe in yourself because you wouldn't be doing this if you don't. But your story and that example reminds me of the liking gap, which I often refer to on this show, which is just very simply the phenomenon where we tend to view ourselves and think that people are going to like us less than they actually do.
Mhm.
Sometimes that can get exacerbated and blown out of proportion by a rude comment. We give a rude comment oftentimes a lot more power than we do like
Mhm.
positive comments. I'm sure everybody can relate to that.
Yeah.
You might get 5, 10, 15, 20 positive comments on something in a day once you get rolling, but that one negative one really sticks out and stings and you can't stop thinking about it. And it's just human nature. It's
Mhm.
that phenomenon of the liking gap, which revolves around and affects us all, and where we think that people like us less than they actually do. And I would assume that you found out that people actually do value your education, they do value your knowledge, and have you discovered that you have a lot more value and you have a lot more ability than you thought you actually did? I know you referenced in your questionnaire. We asked you a couple of questions just to get the juices flowing when we invited you on, and you said, one of the things I've had a lot of success with is just truth bombs. Um, you know, just talk to us a little bit about what you've discovered about your abilities and your ability to deliver value that has surprised you, or that has impressed you or made you proud of yourself in terms of those abilities and what you actually are capable of?
Well, I mean, I guess when the success with the truth bombs was I just made a video. My my traffic has come from Facebook Reels, and it was really honing in on that hook. What was I saying in that first 3 seconds to draw people in? And that's where I was struggling. And then just one video, and it took like a month, and all of a sudden it was 100,000 views, 200,000 views. And for me, I'm like, that's a lot of people. But just being the transparent, right? I'm not, it's not coated BS. Here's everything. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to trick you into anything. I'm as transparent as humanly possible. That has been, and I guess through that, because that's who I am as a person. No BS. You're going to see my resting bee face. I'm going to tell you like it is, but it's from love. It is not from a mean place. This is what you need to hear, because it is going to better you and make you better for it. You may not like me for 48 hours, but you're going to see where I was coming from.
Yeah.
And through that one truth bomb video, that was where it was not my persona was developed, but my online presence come from was we're not sugarcoating nothing. Here it is, overcoming that. And like, I guess it was just super reassuring too. Like, wow, that's who I am as a person. And people are seeing that, and they're loving that, and they're appreciating that. Like, comments, like you said, you'll focus in and hone in on that one negative comment. And at the beginning I was, but for every one negative, there's been 20 other positives,
Yeah.
And I have, if one piece of advice I could give to anybody as far as that goes is, if they're not paying your bills, their opinion does not matter at all. Don't let them take nothing from you.
Right. Not a damn thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
And
I love that. I love that. And there's so much wisdom and so much to learn. That was a dump truck of platinum nuggets that you just dumped right on our heads, right upon our heads, right here. And it's taken a moment for some of us to really digest that, me included, and tease it apart into the really powerful points that you just made. One that I want to hone in on is the fact that when you really say what you want to say, and you really say what you're thinking and what other people are also probably thinking but are afraid to say, that is when you actually get the most traction. You get the biggest response, because you're actually saying something that people are thinking anyways. And when you let it out and let it go and say it with your attitude, your actual persona, your real life personality. I'm talking about the personality that you have sort of behind closed doors with your girlfriends, behind closed doors with the fellas. I'm talking about really all of you, resting bee face, with as well as that kind of crazy side that we all have. Can I get an amen about that? Because we've all got it.
Amen.
We've
Yes.
all got it. Okay. When you actually release that and say, and actually say something that's fairly intelligent, or that makes some sense, or, you don't have to blow people away with rocket science. It's just about pointing out the obvious things, providing simple little tips, right? Is that what you're saying that you have? Am I reflecting that back to you accurately?
Yes.
Does that feel like
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And say more about the hook with the truth bombs. Talk to us a little bit more about, because getting people to stop their scroll and actually watch your video is determined by what they see and hear in that first second or two.
Yes.
Say more about that.
Okay. So that took me a little bit to really figure out. But again, trusting the process and just trying different things is what led to that success, right? So the one that took off was, I was just sitting at my desk and the video quality wasn't great, but it was just like, I'm going to say something that's going to make a lot of people upset right now. Right. And so that's all it takes. People love drama. People love controversy. People love to get mad about something. That's just the world that we live in right now. So, and so, again, that didn't take off for a month. And so when it did start taking off, I was like, okay, let's work with this. So now a lot of my stuff is to get you to stop is I'm about to make a lot of people mad right now, or they're, I know you're not going to want to hear this, but you need to, or, no one else is going to say it, but I'm going to tell you, that is really catching people's attention.
I like that the little kind of like, let me just scratch my head. Let me just flick my hair while you're saying that. It adds a little bit of like, because you just did that right there. It was like, oh, this is going to make a lot of people mad right now. Like the body language too, where you're acting a little cocky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, like you're really giving that extra attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I think also is so powerful because it gives that additional visual of I'm going to say some shit right now that is probably going to piss a lot of people off. And you know what? I don't really care, right? Because
Yeah.
here it comes, right?
Yeah.
It's like that additional sort of, and what I found is even over exaggerating that sort of body language and that performance a little bit, because remember you're on video and you're needing to stop somebody's scroll. This is marketing, and I've been in the business of marketing for 13 years now, and it's all about breaking somebody's state, catching their attention again in those first few seconds, whether you are on a TikTok video or whether you're in a sales video that's going to be 25 minutes long, where you're going to actually ask for a payment at the end of that sales video. You need to hook people in those first few seconds. And so saying something sort of dramatic, letting them know you're about to piss them off or piss people off, being a little bit over exaggerating with the performance of your body language to kind of just give people a little extra visual is so it's very difficult to turn away from that.
Right. And it adds personality to it. It adds like, okay, I'm not sitting here and I'm standing perfectly still and I'm telling a story. No, because what am I going to do when I have some tea to tell my husband? I'm like, baby, guess what? Guess what I heard today? It adds the personality. It helps connect.
Girl, I got my cup right here, empty, ready.
Tell me the tea. It's piping hot.
Yeah. That tea, that pot is steaming.
And so, it does. And I feel like then it's just, you're seeing more of me because I am very, I talk with my hands and I'm all over the place and bouncing off the walls like a squirrel. And like, here it is,
Right.
like, I think I did a video last night and I just posted it this morning and, last night after adult beverages at dinner. And I was like, I can't post that, I whatever, I'm a little red cheeks and all the things. I was like, but that's your entire platform, Taylor, is honesty, transparency. This is who you are. You're a hot mess mom. It's fine. People will appreciate it.
Gets a little saucy, right?
It just is what it is. Yeah. It's what we had to do to get to bedtime.
Absolutely. Get your nightcap, cap off that day, and then, hey, talk a little bit of smack, right? I mean, that's when you and your husband are sharing, you're getting a little loose. The kids are in bed, and that's who you really are. That is who obviously we put on certain masks and faces and because we can't act a fool in front of the kids. We got to hold it all in. We don't want to traumatize them too bad. We don't want to send them to therapy, too much therapy when they get older. So we're kind of buttoned up and kind of just playing the mom role. But I tell you what, you put those damn kids to bed and it's like, hey, it is mama time. It is daddy time. It is time to get loose. And that's when a lot of you could come up with your best content is when you are feeling loose. I can remember somebody, I can't remember who it was, but he said, somebody was asking him how he went live the first time. It's somebody in this community. I think it might've been Josh Smith. And he was like, well, I'll tell you exactly how I did. It got a couple of beers in me. and that helped, right? Because it's like,
Hey.
you don't want to get sloppy. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you're a drinker and not an alcoholic, for me, that doesn't work. I don't get a few drinks in me, but whatever you got to do in order to just loosen yourself up until you can get comfortable, really expressing yourself in who you really are. And so what else have you kind of learned about creating content? What other helpful tips do you have? What else have you um, what else have you been surprised by that has also worked and that you practice now that you may not have particularly did when you first got started? Did you struggle with comparisonitis? Obviously you mentioned the imposter syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you could touch a little bit on your content creation strategy in terms of how many videos you create per day. There
Sure.
may have been some comparisonitis at the beginning of feeling like you needed to do this, kind of the same amount that everybody else was doing, but you have found your groove. Talk to us about finding your groove.
So finding it for me at first, I was like, okay, I've got to do this 3 videos a day thing, and that was stressful. I'm in the car, I'm driving to schools and picking up, and I just couldn't do the 3 a day, and so that added too much pressure to me, and so I was like, but I don't have to follow some set rules. I post 1 video a day. I focus, and sometimes if I'm having a creative day where the creative juices are just flowing, I record a lot of different content and I just save it in my drafts. So then I can give myself some grace the rest of the week. Just I have my captions, I've got them in my notes. They're ready to copy and paste and post in the morning. I do it about 8:30 right after drop off.
Mhm.
And I post it once a day. Um, I guess really learning throughout this process was to not to be loose with it, right? Like I said, the first video I ever posted where I was really speaking, whew, and I think and it was a very simple video. And gosh, I probably spent 2 hours, like, oh, nope, no, I don't like that. I don't like the way I said that. Oh, this and
Mhm.
that and the other. When
Mhm.
people come to me and they ask me those questions, I'm like, don't make a script. Don't do it.
Mhm.
Then it's too robotic. Sure, it's polished. We'll say it's polished, but that doesn't really let you shine through is when you've polished it up so much and it looks like an ad for the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
like it is just that planned out. I just
Mhm.
go with it, and if I really mess up a word, sure, I'll re-say that, you know. But once I've really figured out what I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to display, and I really find, okay, well, what's my hook going to be? You know, I just go with it. I'm like, I've got 90 seconds on these Facebook reels, so we're going to go with it. And
Mhm.
whatever is the outcome, that's it, because that's who you are. And don't stress over it. Don't focus on perfection. Oh
Mhm.
man, do your research. Make sure what you are posting and sharing is legit. That's the biggest thing. And just go with it. Don't beat yourself up. You know,
Yeah. I
that's
find that
probably my biggest thing.
I find that usually my first recording has always been my best, right? Like
Yes.
when I want to try to critique myself, and we talked a lot about this yesterday, that one of the worst things that you can do when you're marketing and creating content is I know this is going to sound crazy, but
Hmm.
watch your own videos, right?
Hmm.
And sit there and critique them. Um, you know, watching them one time through, just I guess for the purposes of whatever your purpose is. I don't know, but the truth is that you were there. You heard what you said. You
Hmm.
know, there's nothing that is going to be happening in that video that is going to be so important or so bad that it is going to make that video fail because of one particular anything like that. And
Right.
so the time that you lose and the mental energy that you exhaust by going back through a 90-second video 15 times. And then every time you watch it, you don't like it. You find something about it that you would change. So what do? You re-record one. So now you've watched it 15 times. You've recorded 15 new videos of the same. Instead, what you could have done, because you heard it, you know what you said, you know you're not going to like it because it's just the liking gap phenomenon. It just is what it is. You could have recorded 15 videos. You could have had your content done for the next 3 to 5 days. But instead, again, we go back through liking gap. We don't like it as much as other people are going to like it. We want to critique it, edit it down until it feels, you can over edit videos, friends, on these platforms to where they actually feel, people are like, what are we hiding here? Right.
Yeah, it's icky.
Some edits can be helpful, but over editing things is not only, it's not going to make that big of a difference. It's just not, right? A good, solid video that's authentic, that makes a good point, that tells a good story, unedited, is going to do 1,000 times better than an over edited video that doesn't tell a good story and make a good point. Talk to us about your storytelling abilities, your ability to tie those stories into points, and how you've gotten better at that, fitting that into a 90-second video. Was that a struggle for you at first?
It's still a struggle. I'm a talker. I mean, us Southern women, we're talkers, so it's really, really hard to teach and to relay a message in those 90 seconds, so I really try to, that's where I do have to edit it down. Like, okay, I didn't have to add that in. That's okay. Let's get us down to that 90-second mark. I remember I had done a video, and when I started off, I was like, okay, well, where do I take my videos? I don't have the best lighting in my house, and I don't have these, we're going to call them influencers, right? They have these just immaculate kitchen backgrounds and this and that and the other. That's not real life, So I was like, stop worrying about it. You're walking around your house. You're sitting in your office, whatever. I do a lot of my content too in the truck. Luckily I get to hang out with my husband a lot, and we get to run around and do our business errands, and I'm riding in the truck with my laptop and working, and so that's where a lot of my stuff is done. And sometimes I'll have my daughter, and if we're sitting and waiting, and she'll just poke her little head out behind the seat, and at first, when I first started off, I was like, oh, I don't want to, it had to be perfect. I was like, but why? This is the reality of it. I'm a working mom, and you can be a working mom with your kids running around and yelling, and you've got Blippi in the background, and that's okay because we can relate. We get it. Like, it's okay that she poked her head out. She probably made the video even better because she's cute. Don't worry about it. You know?
Yeah. That's such a good point. And Blippi, Mika, I mean, come on, I know all of the songs. I'm an excavator. See you later. I mean, I know my son's in the truck, so we've watched every single excavator, dump truck. I mean, he's got
them in our sleep.
He's got a whole thing on Apple Music and Spotify too. I mean, every song, he's got like more albums. You could play the songs if you really want to like drive yourself crazy, but also it's good for the car. Just throwing that out there for the moms and dads who didn't know that you can play the music in the background if you just want an overdose on Blippi. Do you know that guy was a regular dude who started a YouTube channel and actually, built it up to billions of views, sold it for over $1 billion, that brand in that YouTube channel.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. The reason behind it was, I think it wasn't even his child. I think it was maybe a niece or a nephew, that he was like, these learning videos are just that, you're watching on YouTube or watching on TV is just garbage. So he wanted to do something, because as much as we get aggravated about it, when you look at it through a child's eyes, he's really sounding words out. He's really doing educational purposes. And me and my husband were joking because his younger brother is silly, right? Let's see.
Look at this.
3 billion.
I mean, you know what I mean? Sold it to Walt Disney for $3 billion. A lot of y'all think that, YouTube and this digital marketing stuff is a game. It's not a game, man.
No. At that rate, I'm going to put my my brother-in-law in some coveralls and a goofy hat and make him sing songs outside at that rate, you
I mean,
know?
this is a guy who's just like the rest of us, who just,
Mhm.
like you said, wanted to make some educational, decent content for nephew, whatever, and just it turned into something that was way beyond his expectations. And
Mhm.
then we took my daughter to the Blippy, like they turned it into a live show, and I was sitting there looking, I was like, that ain't Blippy.
I know.
It
We
was
were depressed.
Yeah, when he sold the brand, they found a lookalike
Yep.
to come in, and now the lookalike does all the shows and the new shows. You can kind of tell the difference between the old Blippy and the new Blippy if you look close at the older
Yeah.
episodes. But 3 billion, think about that, man. Think
Mhm.
about that.
He saw a need and he filled a need. That's what this
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
All the time, constantly. It looking to fill the need of somebody, and then it turns into that, you know?
Stacy's like, he doesn't even look like the real Blippy. I miss
I
the
know
old.
it. I I know my son, he's super OCD about things, and he notices things quick. In the first episode, he's like, "Mama, that's not Blippi." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I can't control it."
It just like, think about this. All of y'all are like thinking about, are so sort of one track minded and very sort of thinking about this sort of like not narrow minded, but just in a one track mind. And many of
Mhm,
you people see, people promoting legendary and things in the make money online niche, and that's because you were originally looking for ways to make money online, so
yeah,
the algorithm is feeding you lots of that stuff. But we especially in the blueprints, we give so many different examples. I think we've got
mhm,
business plans for nearly 20 different niches in the decade and a day training that we do every other week. We have a brand new business plan where we pick a brand new niche and brand new products, and we build all the assets right in front of you and show you exactly how to enter that particular niche with products, particularly information products, like we teach how to market, that you may have never known that you could actually make money on, that
mhm,
you never even knew this niche existed. And the same thing goes with Blippy. Here's a guy who got into the kids niche, got into the
mhm,
child entertainment niche. And I'm going to tell you something, that niche is silly in terms of, why is it so silly? Well, because it's silly in terms of how much success you can have, because kids will, what are kids all across the world doing? They're
mhm,
sitting in front of iPads, man. We've always liked to watch cartoons. Kids have always liked to watch cartoons. But now even more so, kids still have that appetite for cartoons, and parents have iPads and iPhones that they set in front of kids, that we set in front of kids. Let me not like act like I'm better than everybody else. When we're at dinner, when we're out,
mhm,
or for a certain amount of time throughout the day, and it's just the amount of screen time has 10x, 100x, and it's just a really lucrative niche to be in, because
mhm.
you can not only just build a business based on video views like Blippy did, and then sell the brand, or potentially get your show on Netflix or get it on Walt Disney, or etc. But you can also do affiliate marketing where I know you don't even need a kid. I know people who do review videos of certain toys, and they just unbox the toy right in the video, and
Mhm.
then give an affiliate link to the toy under the
Exactly.
description, or in the link in their bio.
Mhm,
There's so, your income is literally capped by your creativity. I say
mhm.
that quite often. Do you find that to be true now, the more you get
Ye
into this?
Yes, the creative is hard. I'm a process person. I'm not a creative person. So that has been a huge roadblock for me, and that is one of the things that was like, "Well, but hey, you're not creative though. You know, you can't think of these things to do, but you do have to be creative." And I get a lot of people that I interact with and that message me on Facebook and just looking for guidance and help. And I'm like, you got it. Like you are overcomplicating the crap out of it. You're doing so great. You're taking something you like, something you love, and you are turning it into that business. You don't have to overcomplicate it. And like I mean, yes, I am absolutely here to give you that check mark. If that's what you need somebody to say you're doing it, you know, a little encouragement, I'm here all day long, you know, but that's all fantastic ideas. You're thinking about Halloween DIY a month before Halloween. That's perfect. People are about to be scrambling, putting costumes together, and you're ahead of it with your
Yeah.
affiliate links. That's perfect.
You could have a whole, I mean, while we're thinking about that, like you can name any topic, any category, and it gets my wheel spinning. I wasn't a creative person either, but I didn't say that over and over again to make myself believe that I was a creative person. I just acted myself into being a creative person. And now, after doing it for so many years, I can't help but to, when you talk about something like you just talked about the holiday stuff, look, if I wanted to today, I could build I could build channels around all holidays. So my channel could be the holiday idea basket, right? And say Halloween holiday idea basket. So Halloween is coming up. So again, I would potentially, for video ideas, show cool things online that you could buy that are cheap and cheerful. I could show craft ideas that I could do with my kids, or that you could do with children, or that you could do with friends that are fun during an adult night. I could show various cool ways to cut a pumpkin. I could right. I could show tools. I could show. I could offer stencils or whatever you call those things where you could trace them. I could do costumes. I could do costumes that you could make at home with things laying around your house. How many parents would love to watch a channel that offered outfits in costume ideas that were free? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
exactly.
didn't have to go to dadgum Amazon or wherever and spend hundreds of dollars that they may not have in this economy right now. How many people would like to be? How many views do you think videos would get for cool costumes that you could put on your kids, or
How many hats you got?
make with your kids? Make with your kids, for God's
Right.
sakes. Okay,
Yeah.
how much? You know, look, the juices. The juices, we said that your income is capped by your creativity, and then we both admitted that we weren't the most creative people when we started. But look at this: when you stay in the game and you eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, why would you want to do that? Because it could make you rich. That's why you want to do that. But then eventually you can't help it. Somebody throws an idea or puts up a topic, and geez, I could make a dadgum channel about that. I could, holy crap, just like I just did. Then all of a sudden, what comes next? Well, Christmas. How many people would love to, how about holiday recipe ideas? How about different ways to cook a turkey? How about different substitutes for turkey because you're tired of having turkey because you've had turkey for the past 50 years? How about different ways to get family members involved? How about gift giving ideas? How about or how about different, what do they call that, the elephant thing or whatever, different things, activities that you could do that are somewhat different from your traditional kind of everybody feels guilted into bringing 15 gifts for everybody, and they go broke, and then they try to avoid family things because come on, the ideas, I have to wear a hat because the ideas, I got to keep them in so they don't explode out the top of my head.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that we could be doing in making income based on our creativity. What's coming up for you as I'm just ranting? You mentioned holiday.
Absolutely. I mean, you go into creative mode like you just did, and all of a sudden you're just word vomiting all these things. And like you said, before I started this, I'm not a creative bone in my body, really. I'm very systematic. But all of a sudden I'm like, I love plants, right? So I have a plant lady that I go to. I see her like once a week, and she's a small business and she wants to grow, but she just doesn't know. All she knows is plants. And I'm like spewing ideas at her. And I'm like, all of a sudden I'm surprised by myself of all the things I'm just telling her. I'm like, if this is what you want to do, you could start with this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And she's like a deer in headlights, but it's just going, it's helped with our business. You know, we have a good business, but I'm like, honey, are you kidding? The ASMR of welding videos that people would watch, you know, and then all of a sudden we're promoting, you know, a welding machine worth $10,000, you know, and how quick and easy that is. And he's like, oh, I guess I've never thought about doing that. And I'm like, well, now I am.
Yeah.
You know, but taking our bread and butter and turning it into something else.
Yeah. And I want to address this question that somebody, you know, people are like, you know, wow, this is amazing. But June says, but how does that convert over to making money? Well, the number one thing that you need to master is traffic generation, right? Is getting people to actually watch your marketing content, right? That's like the first thing that's really important. Once you have people watching your content and you found a way to deliver your content in a way that people like to watch it, there's a million ways to make $1 million. You could, of course, link out to every single product. My main point with all the holiday products was you can link out to those particular, say, for example, you're building costumes. Okay. You can promote that for a week. And say you wanted to sell your own ebook or course for $20 on, you know, 15 ideas or 20 or 30 ideas of costumes that you could make right around your house. You could, of course, give 1 or 2 or 3 away for free, and then say, if you want the other 20, then go and grab my mini course. And that mini course could just be a simple video that you've put behind a paywall for $20. If you were doing crafts, for example, hey, I found these awesome stencils that make it so fun for a kid party or an adult night of pumpkin carving. I'm going to link out to these in my link in my bio. If you want to pick them up, they're only $9.99. They're only $19.99, and they'll make for an amazing party. You know, an amazing thing, right? So you can find different things that you can be an affiliate for, and then essentially you do demos for them, right? You bring those products and you show them to your audience how they work, how they can benefit from them, give them ideas. You know, say, for example, you found a cool recipe book. You found it on Amazon. You take that recipe book that doesn't have any marketing around it, and you communicate how you may be able to get your family more involved if you were to tell them exactly what to cook and how to cook it, and then they can bring it to that holiday dinner instead of you doing all the work. Now you're getting your family members involved. And this happens to be my favorite cookbook, one that I found that's really simple, easy, and fun. I'm going to link out to it in the link in my bio. Does this make sense? So, my friends, it's all about finding that falls into one of the core 4 categories. Am I going to create a course? Course can also be an ebook, a book. It can be a simple training video. A course doesn't always have to be this big, you know, complicated thing in a membership site. It can just be one video that's a short, you know, 20-minute course, masterclass training that you sell. A course can be anything, right? It could be a coaching program. It could be an event, or you can find something to be an affiliate for. But again, the whole point that Taylor and I got on that rant was that our income is only capped by our creativity. So if we wanted to create something in that holiday idea niche, we would just very simply start out by finding products that we could be an affiliate for, and then finding fun and interesting ways, invaluable ways to show people how to get benefit to make their holiday experience more positive, more exciting, more memorable by using those products, and then very simply linking out to those products with our affiliate link for them to go and purchase them. That's how you make money with those ideas, June. Thanks for the question.
And I mean, one of mine is doubling up, you know, interrupting there, having a guide, right? Here's how, you know, step by step, how you're going to make that Halloween costume, right? But here's where we're going to double up. That simple $4.99. You know, I'm not really, you know, some people may, but I'm not. Okay, $4.99 real quick. I want to see that guide. I really am curious because I really like that video. And then within that guide, there is affiliate links to those products per se,
Right.
you know? And so absolutely, like I really like this guide and I want to make it exactly how she made it. So I'm that person. I'm gonna go in because I want it to look exactly how she did, and I'm gonna buy every single thing that she has linked in there because I want to do it the same way.
That's
you
right.
know,
That's
tools.
a great point. That's a great point. Just to elaborate on what Taylor just said, which is brilliant, and thank you so much for bringing that up. You can absolutely, and this is a much probably cleaner way to do it, is that if you want to know, get all of my ideas for low to no price costumes that you can create for every holiday with your children, not just Halloween, but I bet your children would love to dress up and have cute little outfits for every single holiday, Christmas, Easter, at 4th of July, everything. I've actually created a guide that you can enter your email and I'll send it to you. And in that guide has 3 costumes, low to no cost, that you can build with your children that they're going to love and have so much fun and make so many memories and look so cute in. And every single category or costume can have those affiliate links linked out to, whether it be Michael's, Walmart, Target, Amazon, where you're recommending the materials that they'll need to actually put those costumes together. And now what have you done?
Exactly. You've created that stream. And I mean,
you
just
built your email
being
list
in this
at the same time. You've built your
Right.
email list at the same time.
Exactly.
So now you follow up with more ideas,
creative
products, programs, things down the road.
Right. And I mean, so one of the I love Legos, right? I am 27. I have an absurd amount of Legos in my office. But that's a great thing. Just in this creative space with you, it's already okay. I can make a guide for the top 15 best Lego sets to give your teenager or your under 8-year-old, right? It's a free guide, and that's my favorite ones, and I'm sending it to you for free. But then, since I'm an affiliate with Lego, in that guide is every single link to all the ones I put in there. And then Lego, being a part of their affiliate program, sends you, the upcoming stuff. You get the news before it comes out. So now I'm sending you things about that product. Every month when I get the information, I'm going to have an email in there sending it out. And so that's a great way that you can do that. And it's real simple to, I mean, when you start it, it's difficult, right? Creating guides, it's a little overwhelming. Again, don't focus on it being perfect. And then it just starts to flow. I could probably build that out in 15 minutes. We'll say 20 to make sure all the links are correct, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You can do it.
And Kenzie makes a great point here that it's evergreen content. So the cool thing about, for example, like the holiday example that we were just talking about, well, guess what? You make it once, and now you have an entire, especially if you every piece of content that you make for each season, each holiday, you can just recycle that the next year.
Exactly. Yes.
This is one thing that I don't think we put enough emphasis on, is that once you build it once you set up a landing page, once you set up a sales funnel, once you set up maybe an email follow-up series or write those emails fresh one time, now all of a sudden you can recycle all of that content over. And it doesn't matter if it's holiday, you gave the Lego example. If you do that for a year, you can then begin to repurpose and recycle that content from 365 days ago. You could probably, with Lego, something that's not based on holiday, you could probably begin to recycle that content every 90 days because people have either forgotten about it or there's just brand new people that you're going to be reaching. So a lot of us are very much so overcomplicating and overwhelming ourselves, thinking that we need to come up with ideas and content for a particular niche in a business. for the rest of your life. And the truth is that that is not even remotely true. Once you identify good content, I'd say holiday content would be the one thing that you would have to wait a year to begin to repurpose and recycle it, because for obvious reasons. But if you have something that's in the make money online niche, if you have something that's in the child entertainment niche, even toy reviews, getting babies to sleep, Legos, anything else that's not seasonal, you could probably begin to recycle and repurpose that content within a couple to a few months, my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, God bless it. I just wish I could just download and we do try to do this in Decade in a Day inside of the blueprints. Every other Friday we do. That's why we call it the Decade in a Day, because we are doing our best to try to download in about 4 to 5 hours a decade's worth of our knowledge in doing this into your brains in a single day. That's why we call it a Decade in a Day. And so, my friends, if any of you are sitting on the fence wondering if this education and learning these skills is worth every single penny, if it's worth your time and investment of money and time, I think today, just the free value that you and I, and this is just a mastermind session. I mean, this is just you and I, as you said a moment ago, in that creative space, just getting jiggy with it, just coming and finding ideas, bouncing ideas off of each other. But if you are doubting this education, if you are doubting these skills, if you are doubting the profitability and power of this knowledge, look, here's my message. If you don't learn it here, dadgum, learn it somewhere. Learn it somewhere, because it is the future. And no matter what you do, last thing I'd like to ask you, or as we bring this in for a landing, have you found these skills to be useful in your family business and in other businesses as well?
Yes, that's something that I was thinking and contemplating this morning. Every morning I get up early before my kids, before my husband. I get up, turn one light on, and I get ready for the day. And I just kind of get ready for the day, right? And I was thinking, I'm about 2 classes away from getting that bachelor's degree. And just now am I starting to get information that I find useful. And guess what? I learned it in my blueprints, really. And, people get, the investment in the blueprints. But I'm sorry, but you're going to spend a heck of a lot more money and time going through college, getting through all the prerequisites, the electives, blah, 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 before you get to the good stuff. And that's a lot of the things that I have already learned through Legendary, and it's like, well, shit, but, it's good. It's fine. Get that college education, but it aligns so well with what you're learning in college courses, but right here, all in one package. And it's not just a course, it's experience, right? I've always said for our business, I would much rather have the welder who learned it from his dad and has been doing it for 20 years versus the kid that just got out of welding school, who did a little bit of welding, but just knows the terminology and yada, yada, yada. I want that experience over the education, really. So you get so much, and you're not going to learn Aweber. I'm like, I had no clue about email automation, blah, blah, and so I'm like, babe, now I know I can create these emails for our customers, and I know how to just communicate with them and like keep them in our mind, keep us in their mind. Like, man, the opportunities that it just, from one course.
I've said this for years, that every local business, every brick and mortar business, every business that exists should be building their email list, should be, should be driving traffic, creating content, driving traffic into a sales funnel, giving something away for free, building value and authority and positioning themselves as an expert and somebody who has value, demonstrating that they can help people by actually helping them up front
Yes.
for free, for nothing. And it is all you're
Mhm.
doing is doing it through video content, which everybody likes to watch anyways.
Mhm.
Everybody's consuming video content all day, every day anyways. And at the same time, you're simultaneously building your email list, because most people are not going to buy on their first exposure to you. So you have an
Right.
opportunity to, in a non-abrasive, non-intrusive way, follow up with them. That's exactly what email is for. It's for
Mhm.
business. It's to follow, to do business transactions. Sure, you use it for personal, but the truth is we use text message and we use Facebook Messenger and we use Instagram and these other platforms a lot more, FaceTime, a lot more for personal interactions nowadays than we do email. You don't
Right.
email your mom. You don't email your best friend, right? You don't
Right.
email your friends. You text them. That's just how society is nowadays. So email it's the perfect way to then, as you said, bring business in, but also after you've done business with people, continue to send them free value, continue to send them reminders that you exist, continue to send them opportunities to come back in and do business with you for a discount, to buy one, get one freeze. Hey, we have this special going on. Hey, that we've released this new product or service. We'd love to make you one of the first. We're giving discounts for anybody who, hey, we're even got 5 slots to do it for free. And in exchange, if we do a good job, we just ask for a testimonial. All of that
Mhm.
sort of stuff can be done via email. So
Mhm.
every business, when I leave that business or after I get done doing business with somebody and they do not collect my email address and they do not collect my phone number for a text message list, right? Any different ways that you can get a hold of people, it blows my mind because
I really love email. I do
yeah,
because, and sorry to interrupt, because
no
it's when the way I started the course, just thinking of in a personal way, I had signed up, to receive emails, and I had been getting them, didn't pay them much attention, right? But then one day it was just weighing heavily on my mind, and I had deleted them. You just go through and you just mass select and delete, but it's still in there. So all I had to do was, I knew a little bit of what I remembered, and I go in and I search a term to find that email. And it was probably a month or two later, and I signed up. And so
mm,
it's such a passive way using email, because text messages, once you delete them, they're typically gone. But through email, there's all that backlog and back storage, and you can find that email again. So even though that person didn't see the value in what you were offering 6 months ago, all of a sudden it does. And they're like, oh, hey, I don't remember what the product was called, but I know so and so had sent me an email about it long ago that I'd actually opened and read. Let me go find that
mm,
you know
yeah.
and then there you've created a way to provide value without even being present, but
Mhm.
6 months, 8 months from now for somebody, and i
Yeah.
and i love that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such a beautiful, non-intrusive way to both,
Hmm.
follow up with people to generate a business again, but also to engage people who need that extra like value demonstration up front before they actually do business with you. And it's such a beautiful, simple way to send out videos or send people to your
Hmm.
social media to kind of check out some of your recent work or testimonials from your recent customers. It's just every business should be doing it. And we just show you how to do it. Even if you don't have an existing business, of course, you can implement it into selling other people's products. Taylor, before
Right.
we wrap this up, what have you learned about yourself through this process that you either forgot existed within you or you just have discovered newly about yourself through this process?
That I'm so capable of it. I am. Whatever shitty thoughts I had in the beginning about myself, or that I couldn't do it, and that, well, the first mean comment somebody said, well, they're probably right. No, the hell they're not. you know you are you're doing it for you, and I can do it, and I get better at it every day, and I love it more and more every day.
Mhm.
Oh, this interaction and providing, like, genuinely helping others and providing that value, whether it's substantial or just you're doing a good job, don't give up. I love it more and more every day. I devote a lot of time to it, I really do. And when I'm in the car, if I'm riding passenger, you bet I'm talking to people. And I'm before this, you wouldn't look at me and say, "Oh, Taylor's a people person." Absolutely not. Introvert, right? But from this, I have gotten out of my shell and interacted with more people. And like now you almost could say I'm a people person. Like I love it. I love
Mm,
it. Let me help you. Let's work together. Let's team up. Let's make it great.
yeah.
And I wouldn't have thought that about myself this time last year.
Now, would you share with us what have you learned about yourself today? I mean, you said you were nervous, you were going to do more rolling than rocking when I asked you if you were ready to rock this morning. I mean, this was just literally an hour ago, Taylor.
Yeah.
And here you are. We've had one of the most powerful brainstorming marketing sessions that I can remember on Wake Up Legendary, just throwing ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
You're spitballing with me, a so-called expert, blah, blah, blah. And here you are sitting with me eye to eye. We're just, throwing ideas back and forth. You're interrupting me. I mean, and I'm loving every second of it. Well, what have you learned about yourself today and just this whole process and experience?
Just a little, it's a little more confidence boost that I can do it. That's been one of the stepping stones. I've got a decent little following on Facebook, and I can go live, but it's like, oh, but what if nobody shows up? You know, so what? I'll provide value to the two people that do, you
Mm,
know, like I can do it just out of sheer determination and will. And
mm.
again, if they're not paying their bills, their opinion don't matter. So it's okay.
One final hat throw for that, Taylor. You're wonderful.
Thank
It's
you.
you're confident, you're capable. All the things that you said, I fully validate. I fully back you up on that. Shout out to you, your husband, your beautiful family. I know that
Thank you.
you're already making them proud. You're going to continue to make them proud. You should certainly be proud of yourself for what you're accomplishing. And thank you for an absolutely wonderful show this morning and sharing your
Thank you.
wisdom, knowledge, your experience, your energy. Come back and keep me posted on your journey. Okay.
I will. You'll see me again soon.
All right. Sounds good, Taylor. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
All right. All right, my friends, you can go and follow and find Taylor over on TikTok and Instagram at Thrive W Tay. W is short for with. Thrive with Tay, but it's Thrive W Tay. Okay, that's over on TikTok and Instagram. Now, she's been focusing a lot on Facebook. And so if you look her up and just type into the search bar, Thrive with Tay, all of the words fully spelled out, you'll come across her page, her profile, whatever. And you can, of course, like it, follow it, set it to your, set it to show up first on your news feed so you never miss one of her videos. And it would probably benefit you and, of course, her so much. How do we support each other in this community? Well, I mean, these comments and you showing up to Wake Up Legendary is obviously a huge value. And thank you so much for validating both of us, but also validating Taylor. This was her first live ever. Can you believe it? Ever, 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 ever. Yes, ever. You wouldn't even believe it. You wouldn't even imagine what you're capable of. You wouldn't even imagine the power that you have within you when you actually just step in to your power, when you just are, it's like, okay, it's game time. Okay, lights on, camera on, boom, I'm executing. All that anxiety and fear that you were future tripping about, that whatever thing that you thought was going to be so scary. My challenge to you today is to just throw yourself in the middle of the fire. Just throw yourself in the middle of the fire. See what you're made out of. And I guarantee you will blow yourself away. If you want to get a text message every single time that we go live, my friend, text the letters WUL to 813-296-8553. Again, 813-296-8553. Just get your phone and type in the letters where you would normally put the words that you're texting into the little slot. And then the number 813-296-8553. Again, that's WUL for Wake Up Legendary. And let me share Taylor's Facebook one more time. Follow her. How do you support her? Well, like her stuff, comment on her stuff. If you see her going live, know that it's her first time going live on her own, and show her some dadgum love. That's how we support each other. If we see each other out there in the mean streets of the internet, then we lift each other up. We show each other a little bit of love. We know, hey, I see you. I see you doing your thing. That's what we want. We want to be seen. We want to be noticed. We want to be heard. We want to be supported. And this community is full of wonderful people that we can do that for each other. Of course, thank you all for your amazing, loving, supportive comments on the show for me and for Miss Taylor this morning. And my friends, we will see you back here tomorrow, as always, for another episode. Get on out of here. Stay legendary. Peace.